Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Hero Registry. I'm tired of only talking about the super powerful and overly overrated superheroes. So this time, I'm going to tell you about someone who isn't very famous but is quite dangerous. And this danger isn't just my assessment, it's what Batman and other Justice League members have determined. Batman himself said that Plastic Man is one of the best Justice League members to keep a close eye on. He even thinks he should be watched more closely than Superman. So, why is he so cautious about Plastic Man? Given that he's not very well behaved and could potentially turn evil. Before diving into his origin story, I'll first discuss his powers and abilities. Powers and abilities. The polymorphs, those who can use such varied powers, are called polymorphs. In DC, we have Plastic Man, whom we're discussing, and Elongated Man. In Marvel, there are characters like Ms. Marvel and Mr. Fantastic. These are all polymorphs who can change their body shape. Plastic Man can stretch his body and limbs to an unlimited extent. There's absolutely no limit to how long he can stretch. He can extend as much as he wants. He can also shrink his body size to fit inside Batman's utility belt, or grow as large as a skyscraper. Furthermore, he can transform his entire body, or a part of it, into any person, animal, or inanimate object he desires. If he transforms into a person, he can replicate not only their appearance but also their clothing color, even without mentioning his other powers. Just imagine how difficult he'd be to control if he were a villain. His fingers can turn into a key that fits any type of lock, meaning there's no building, no matter how secure, that he cannot enter. Using this ability, he could rob banks or steal political secrets, potentially causing global chaos. Moreover, his ability to disguise himself means he can infiltrate any heavily guarded place. For instance, if he impersonated the US president, stole the secret codes for America's nuclear weapons, and sold them to Russia, the entire world could be reduced to ashes in a matter of 2 or 3 days due to nuclear war. That's why if he turned evil, the problem would be quite severe. A character like Superman is dangerous due to brute strength, but he can be contained by someone stronger or by exploiting weaknesses like kryptonite within a certain time frame. However, polymorphs like Plastic Man or characters like Martian Manhunter, if they plan meticulously, would be nearly impossible to catch and would cause widespread trouble, resilience, and immortality. So, Plastic Man has even more powers. You might think, if he turns evil and can't be caught physically, then mental powers can control him, but that's not possible either. His elastic body is bulletproof and knife-proof, and his mind is impenetrable to psychics. You could say that, fitting his name, Plastic Man. He doesn't have a typical heart. If he sustains injuries, no matter where, he recovers. Even if his heart or brain is damaged, he recovers. While it takes a considerable amount of time to recover, it's much faster than a normal human. Alternatively, he can protect himself from fatal injuries by shifting his body parts. For example, moving his brain to his ankle or his heart to a different location in his body. Given this constant recovery, does he ever die? No, he's immortal. He stopped aging the moment he gained his powers. Even if he does age, it would be at a much slower rate than normal humans. His weaknesses are fire, which can melt his body, and certain chemicals that can harm him. Origin story with his strengths and weaknesses covered. Let's move on to his comic origin. Patrick O'Brien was a con artist and criminal. One day, Patrick and his crew robbed a chemical plant. However, the police arrived and ambushed the entire group. Patrick, injured by a gunshot, fell into a vat of unknown chemical acid. He managed to climb out but passed out upon reaching the surface. When he regained consciousness, his entire body was soft, gooey, and uncontrollable. He then frantically searched for his crew. When he found them, they shot at him, terrified by his bizarre new form. As Patrick was despairing and about to kill himself, a man named Woozy Winks stopped him. Afterward, Woozy helped him train his powers, and together, they fought crime and injustice. That's how Patrick became Plastic Man, and Woozy became his sidekick. Plastic Man is rarely seen in animated movies. As far as I remember, he appeared in Injustice, which was released in 2022. That's pretty much it about him.